How to create stress-free wealth. Here's what I want to do. I obviously I have a presentation that I'm going to walk through. It's incredible. It's my favorite. This is my favorite thing I do. Here's what I want to help frame your mindset around. You showed up for the next 55, 60 minutes. I want you to lock in. Sometimes our greatest opportunities come at the most inconvenient times. Our greatest opportunities come at the most inconvenient times. The buyer can wait, the seller can wait, the contract can wait. I need you to lock in for 60 minutes. Lock in. I also want you to be intentional. Go into the chat quickly and just type in the one thing that you want to get out of today. What's the one thing is like, hey, I committed, everybody could afford this, right? Lindsay, we charge like thousands of dollars for this, right? Everyone could afford today. I want you to lock in these next 60 minutes and I want you to type into the chat what's the one thing that you want to get out of this event. I'm going to serve you. I have zero agenda on this. And by the end of it, if I have earned the right, is it okay if I share an incredible opportunity with you? Type yes in the comment if it's okay if I share something inside of the next hour. If I earn the right, I can share an opportunity with you all. Yes, yes. Okay, cool. If Laura Alter says it's okay, then I can promise you it's okay. All right. Does anybody else have a background that matches their hair? Or is it just Laura? Awesome. Great. My name is Matt Plummer, Las Vegas, Nevada, coming live, Jersey Shore. We're going to crush. Look at that. Get out of debt, level out my months, how to get organized when you have employees, reduce my stress around inconsistent months, a plan to quickly get out of debt. Yep, yep, yep. You are in the right spot. Oh, Lindsay, this is no longer a national call. We have an international call. My man Ben coming in hot from Chile, South America in the house. Let's go. Um, very cool. Great to see you here, Ben. Awesome. All right. How to create stress-free wealth. When was the last time you went to a real estate agent's retirement party? No, never, right? Real estate agents, we simply, as agents, simply take listings, show buyers, do it all the way until we expire. We don't want to be like listings that are they're overpriced listings out there on the market and just expire and just go off into the sunset. We want to do this for a period of time and then go exit the transaction treadmill. One day, I want us all to be able to throw this phone in the ocean. No more TikToks, no more emails, no more whatever. We gotta rock and roll and we gotta crush. So I want every single person to set their intention. We're gonna pay off debt. We're gonna stop living paycheck to paycheck. We're gonna get off the roller coaster and we are going to absolutely smash this. So, how to create stress-free wealth. Now, when I got started in the world of real estate, it was not as a financial coach. Um, my world in entrepreneurship was not as a real estate agent. My life really started to transform about 15 years ago when I was on the marriage counselor's couch in 2012, alcoholic, addictive sports gambler, smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day, fast food twice a day. And I was asked a very, very, very important question. Could I go 90 days without a drink? Now, I was not there for alcohol counseling. I was there for marriage counseling, and I think I was probably short-tempered at the time. I mean, nobody on this call is short-tempered, but like I was probably short-tempered. And he asked my counselor, Mike, asked me if I could go 90 days without a drink. I said, I can do anything, but she'll still be the same person. Yikes. She's mad. She's crying. I'm upset. And he said one thing I'll never forget. Matt, if you don't change, I've seen this too many times. You will be dead, divorced, in jail or broke inside of the next 12 months. You got 12 months, kid. And that sent me on a journey. It sent Melinda on a journey to start to make transformational changes. For me, it started with weight that led to alcohol, that led to sobriety. May 19th, 2012, I made a decision to not drink that day. And I've made that decision every day since. 2012. It's 14 years ago. Stopped gambling 2 weeks later and uncovered something about 90 to 180 days in that after I lost about 30 pounds and I was sober 90 days, I was truly bored. And I was like, why did I drink those last drinks? Why did I eat those drive through 3 times a day? Gang, it wasn't because I loved McDonald's. It wasn't because I loved alcohol. It was because I was bored. And I believe the devil will attack idle hands. They love white space on calendars. It doesn't mean we have to be jam-packed in our calendars and in our budgets and stuff like that, but it does mean we need to be intentional. And I looked forward over the next 90 days and I was like, I'm staring football season and gambling dead in the face. I have to find something to fill this gap of time, or else I'm going to be right back to where I started. Who's ever lost 20 pounds and then maybe gained 25? Same thing. We for whatever reason, we stopped doing the thing that got us the result in the first place. And that's something I want you all to ensure that this is the last time that you're ever going to be in this amount of debt or have this amount of money in the bank or have this amount of net worth. This is going to be the smallest amount that you ever have. It'll be the largest amount of debt you ever have. From now until eternity, we're going in one direction, and that is towards opportunities and no longer obligations. Over 12 months, I lost 100 pounds, became sober, kept that kept building those habits. And then a year and a half later, my wife and I ended up on another counselor's couch, talking about how we were $550,000 in debt. I was like, we just climbed this mountain and now we got to go climb another mountain. Write that down. There's always going to be another mountain. So we got exposed to Dave Ramsey. Shout out to Dave. We're actually coming up on our anniversary of doing our debt-free scream on the Dave Ramsey show. The next 40 months, we delayed gratification A plus. We got an A plus in delayed gratification. We got an A plus in like lowering the water and extreme sacrifice and contentment over the next 3.5 years. But it allowed us to create enough gap, enough margin to go pay off and eliminate $550,000 worth of debt. Now we sold a house that was about 300. And so we had some cash flow. We ended up cash flowing about 225, $250,000 of debt over 3.5 years, which told me a couple of things. It taught me a few things. One, I know how to live on less, right? There are people on this call that make enough. We just have to live on less for a season. Cool. Second thing, I needed to go raise the bridge and make more money. I call living on less lowering the water. Make more money, raise the bridge. A lot of us in this world of real estate and entrepreneurship are in a boat, in a river, trying to go under the bridge, and our boat keeps hitting the bridge. Anyone's head starting to hurt because they keep ramming. They're trying to get through and they just can't fit. Water's too high, boat too big. In Texas, they call that big hat, no cattle. So we have to lower the water. We can lower the water faster than we can go raise the bridge, but we need to do it twice. I got exposed to the world of real estate. I knew I needed to make more money. I saw a bunch of my friends online. I knew all the real estate agents in Northern Virginia, got exposed to real estate, and I said, I'm going to go make more money. And I sold a house inside of 90 days. And I started having conversations with agents just like you on what to do with money. Laura, what do you do? Renee, what do you do? Mary, what do you do? Lindsay, what do you do? And I did not hear hire a coach, create a marketing system, lead generate every single day. Um, I didn't hear buy a rental property. I heard pay last year's taxes and next month's car note. And I'm like, this is exactly the problem I just eliminated in my life. Let me go be someone else's message. And so over the next 5 or 6 years, I had thousands of conversations and helped hundreds of people start to create their own transformation, generally through the lines of their financial transformation. And so as we go through your financial transformation today, it all starts with awareness. I want every single person to write down their facts. I have this much cash. I have this much debt. I have this type of marriage or this type of relationship, or I want to have this type of relationship. I have this many pending. I have this many closings in the last 90 days. I've made this much money. I've spent this much. Just the facts. And the facts are truth, and the truth will set you free. And understand, gang, that this is just the facts. No shame, no blame, no guilt. This isn't where we sit here and be like, I've sold real estate for 24 years and I have $12,000 in the bank. And you feel like crap because of it. It's just the facts. I have 12 grand and I have two closings coming up and I'm going to go crush. And in 12 months, I'm going to be in a radically different place because I'm going to pay attention and I'm going to take action on the steps that Matt leads us down today. Or maybe you don't have any debt and you've got $50,000 and you're like, hey, I'm ready to go invest. Great. We're going to talk about if you take $1,000 a month and what that looks like over the next 12 years or 10 years. Like it's millions and millions of dollars. One of my coaching clients, we had our call last week. They transferred 20, we have a roadmap. Their roadmap starts with $2,500 a month. And every month they're contributing $2,500 to their brokerage account, and it's tens of millions of dollars by the time they are going to leave this world. And it's a legacy. But it all started with awareness of like financial disorganization. You see, I had these interviews and these conversations, and I understood a few things always kept coming up. Real estate agents don't make as much as they think. I know that's shocking. We all spend more than we care to admit. Also shocking. However, those two things combined cause us to be behind on taxes and behind on retirement. And if you're not there now, you've been there in the past, behind on taxes and or retirement. And it's totally fine. It's okay to be where you are and it's not okay to stay there. Make it a goal, set it intentionally that I'm no longer going to be behind on taxes and or retirement. 2026 is the last year that I'm ever going to file an extension out of default, not design. Sometimes there are people that file an extension out of design. Most people do it out of default. Too busy, too this, too disorganized. So agents don't make as much as they think, spend more than they care to admit, and are generally behind on taxes and or retirement. Here's the real problem. Here's the real problem. The two things that cause the most stress and anxiety for real estate agents is inconsistent income and financial disorganization. Fact, period, end of story. So if we can fix those two things, is it fair to say that a lot of our financial problems over time will go away? Yes or no? Type yes in the chat if you believe those two things, if we fix that in the next 30 to 90 days, that the problems you have today will start to go away. Yeah. So let's just fix that instead of all the other nonsense that's out there, like what brokerage is buying what brokerage and what rates are doing and what lawsuit is over here and who's going there. Instead of all of that, why don't we fix the two things that cause the most stress and anxiety and take immediate action on financial organization and take immediate action on consistent activity? Whatever it is, 5 calls a day, 10 calls a day, 20 calls a day, whatever it is. And we set up our methodology of budgeting, banking, and bookkeeping to run our methodology through so that 90 days from now, 180 days from now, 18 months from now, like everything's fixed. We got a whole new set of problems. And paying off debt and saving money isn't one of them. It's what building are we going to go buy so we don't have to pay $50,000 in taxes? I much rather help people solve that problem than do we pay Chase or American Express first. But sometimes we got to figure out, we got to stabilize the present to structure the future. And that's where some of you are today. So let's go solve that problem. But also, we're going to go solve bigger problems. Like, let's go solve seven-figure problems, not $7 problems, right? A guy that I follow online says, hey, let's not solve $3 latte problems. Let's go figure out $30,000 problems and figure out how we're going to go pay for a cash for a car. Not worry about how much we're going to pay for our Americano, iced, whatever. I'm in Jersey Shore, so it's a little different vibe than Las Vegas. So I'm exposing myself to new cultures this week, right? So let's go fix 30,000 and seven-figure problems, not coffee problems, okay? The second part of our transformation is we got to make a decision. What decision are we going to make based on what you just wrote down? If you wrote down, I'm in debt, a decision that you could make is, hey, I got to stop using credit cards. Like, I can't help you get out of debt if you're still using credit cards. Like, oh, but the points. Yeah, but you're running a credit card this way, and then you got to circle back around and pay for it. And if your deal doesn't come through, now you're stuck with a balance and you got 1 penny worth of miles. And if you're in debt, let's not worry about flying anywhere. Let's just worry about lead generation. Deal? If you don't have $50,000 of cash, let's not worry about flying around first class. Let's just get from A to B. Write that down. What is going to be my A to B moment? Like, I just got to get from May 1st to August 1st. I just have to get from May 1st to June 1st. So what do I cut? What do I eliminate? How many contacts do I make to go get 2 deals under contract in the next 30 days so that cash is coming in the middle of June, and so that I can make sure that I got June, July, and August covered? We're going to talk about that in a minute with adding age to money. But what decision are you going to make? Maybe you wrote down, hey, I'm 20 pounds overweight. Great. When are you going to lose the weight? I hired a coach. I've hired, I don't know how many health and fitness coaches and programs I've been on, right? I've drank every shake. I've done every program. And last September, I had my moment where I was always wearing black, not because it was cool. It's because it was the most slimming. And I got called out by Melinda. She's like, why are you always in black? Because I'm 230. And she's like, yeah, but you look fine. I was like, I feel terrible. Hired a coach, got on a scale, 204 on Saturday before I left for the East Coast. I've never felt better because I made a decision. Hired a coach, made a decision. Made his decision, hired a coach, and said, "Hey, whatever your plan is, Shannon, I'll follow it. I don't care. I'm not, I have no ego around that." And the last thing is we got to be intentional. Where are we going to be intentional every single day on the decision that we just made? I'm going to track my steps. I'm going to track my food. I'm going to track my water. I'm going to track my dates. I'm going to track how many times I ask Melinda, does she feel loved this week? Whatever it is, what are we going to be intentional on? So awareness, decision, intentionality. That is truly your financial transformation framework. Now, Matt, we signed up for money. Got it. We got to set the mood, right? We got to get the mindset right. I can't jump in and just tell you to do profit first without understanding how you got to where you are. When you lose 100 pounds, what's the very first thing people ask you to do or ask you? How'd you do it? Yeah, you don't want to know. Two protein shakes a day, somewhere between 5 and 8,000 steps, and no alcohol. I quit drinking, right? I quit drinking. I quit gambling. I almost quit fast food. And I drank two protein shakes a day and got somewhere between 5 and 10,000 steps. That's it. Yep. Told you wouldn't want it, you wouldn't like it. But no, you know what nobody asked? How did you get to 300 pounds? Yeah, I had meals. Those are my meal replacement shakes, Mary. That's a fair question about based what I just said. Yeah, they were meal replacement. I drank a protein shake instead of going to McDonald's. And we had one or two meals throughout the day, right? We ate better, right? Nobody asked how I got there. Oh, I drank every single day 2 to 4 beers and had chicken wings and popcorn chicken and French fries and pizza and Coors Light every single day. That sounds fun, right? So, but you have to go through this mindset. You have to have a learning, you have to have a mindset of learning. You have to be learning based, leadership based, right? You have to invest in yourself. Way easier to say and harder to do. 100%, Nancy. And so, as we start on this financial journey, the path to profit, the path to profit. What does that mean? You guys all run real estate businesses, right? You got solo agents, team leaders, team agents, broker owners on this call watching the replay. The path to profit. Who's the most important person? Who's the most important person in your entire business? Type it in the chat. Who's the most important person? Yep. Me. Got it. Yep. Everybody's got it. Ben even knows it all the way down in Chile, Santiago. Yeah. So who gets paid first? Who should get paid first? Us. Who's not getting paid first for the most part? Us, right? And so when we look at a profit and loss statement, and now like Melinda and I started a bookkeeping business 90 days ago, Lindsay. 90 days ago, we started a bookkeeping business out of thin air, by the way, complete thin air. Like it was overnight. We were aware, we made a decision, we've been intentional every day about growing our bookkeeping business. We have now have 20 clients. However, I was like, where am I talking about? Oh, the path to profit, profit and loss statements. I've looked at more profit and loss statements in the last 90 days than I ever thought I would, and I'm only going to look at more. What's the very first place that you look when your bookkeeper, if you use one or if you do it yourself, where's the very first place that you look when you receive the um, profit and loss statement? Yep. Lisa nailed it. Bottom line, bottom right, two questions. You made 500 grand. You spent 200 grand in whatever things, $300,000 net profit. That's 60%, by the way. That's very good. Two questions. What happened? How much did you pay yourself out of the 300 grand? And what did it do? And where did it go? Number one. Number two, where's the 100 grand you owe the government out of the 300 grand that you just made? And that's when we get the gulp. I don't know. Or this emoji. Or this emoji. I don't know. And if it's really bad, it's like the cold emoji with the yikes. I really don't know where it went. And so we have to have a path to profit. We have to understand this. And I want you to flip the script. Revenue in sales minus profit now equal expenses rather than sales minus expenses equals profit. Sales minus profit equal expenses. 500 grand goes in, it goes into one account. How much money can we spend? All of it. It's all in one account. I want you to implement profit first, and I walk you through that through my ebook, through the resource guide, through our strategy calls, through the wealth department. Sales minus profit equals expenses. 500 grand in, 300 grand profit. We force the business to run on 200, not 500. And there's a really good chance that if we pay ourselves even more money, we'll figure out how to run the business on less. And that money, that 300 or $400,000 that we end up paying ourselves is our money and our tax money. Because if you know, understand profit first, we set aside profit, owner's pay, taxes first, and then expenses. And so your net profit, when you're looking at that profit and loss statement, your net profit is an accumulation of profit, owner's pay, and taxes. Taxes are not an expense to the business. They're not in the expense section. Okay. So now what do we do? We need a banking system to do it. That's why I partnered with the bank Relay. It's a cloud-based bank. I know there's 50 people on this call. Half of you probably have a Relay account. You've been in my world long enough. If you don't, Lindsay will drop the link to it'll be on a couple of emails. But Lindsay, if you can drop the link for them to apply for Relay, it's a great cloud-based bank that allows you to implement profit first day one without talking to anyone, without going around the corner and setting up an appointment to talk with a person who doesn't care about your business 3 weeks from now, 21 days after you forgot about it. So just sign up for it. It's free and it will make your banking process so much easier. It's called Relay Financial. I run two businesses through it. It's fantastic. So we've got the path to profit. Now, my friend Josh, friend, client, friend, partner. We were partners in real estate for a little bit while he was growing his team. Came to me 8 years ago now and said, "Hey man, I'm carrying this much debt. It's a weight. It's a noose around my neck. Will you help and walk me through this?" Of course. So we implemented profit first. We implemented and him and his family, they put themselves on a household budget. They said, "This is what we're going to do." And Josh, just a quick backstory, like Josh and most team leaders have to sell real estate to fund their team, especially when they start. Josh had to sell 6 houses a year, sorry, 6 houses a month to just break even on business and personal finances, just to break even. That's 70 houses a year. That's exhausting. So we started a shift there, got a buyer's agent. He did listings. shifted over to the buyer's agent, shifted the buyer's agents over to his buyer's agent, or buyers over to his buyer's agent. And then we implemented budgeting and we implemented banking, which was at that point profit first. His first year, he paid off $138,000 worth of debt. Second year, he went and put $200,000 in the bank. Third year, now he's a team leader, so things are going up and to the right. 19, 20, 21, 22. A lot of people in real estate are making a lot of money. Josh was excellent at compressing lifestyle and compressing business expenses, and everything was going towards opportunities. 138 grand, gone. $200,000 cash in the bank, done. Next thing, wrote a check, walked into his bank with now his six kids, not three kids. Now, this is my disclaimer. If you lose weight and you start making money around me and you start keeping your money, you might get sexy and rich and end up having more babies. Josh started with three. He now has eight. Now, some are biological, some are adopted through the system. However, they now have eight, paid off their mortgage, took six kids into the bank, wrote a check for the house. So cool. Today, he has a coaching business. He leads the number, it is the number two team at Real Broker for transaction. I think transactions or volume, one of the two. This past quarter, they were the number two team at Real Broker. Um, and they just bought hundreds of acres in Tennessee to go build a retreat in their new home because of the system that you're learning today. Okay. So that's what's possible. Now they sell, this is 100, I think that's 100 a quarter that they sell of real estate. Second thing, we got to add age to money. What does that mean? That means we make money this month. You guys are going to do a cash flow plan in the month of May. How much money's coming in, and how much of that money are we spending in May, and how much of that money do we add age to it and say, this is June's money. I'm going to need this in October when I go to my broker event. I'm going to need this in next April when I go to Girls with Grit Live 27. Whatever it is. We make money this month, we add age to it so that we have money in the future, short-term money. Now, you can also apply this for long-term money too, like investing. But I really want you to get this idea of making money this month and using it 2 or 3 months later to do whatever, to pay for whatever. Doesn't matter to me. It's called add age to money. Now, we're going to need a banking system, not only for our business, but also our personal. Because we don't have only business goals and no personal goals, right? We want to build our we want to build our business to support our personal life, but we start with building our personal life so that it can be big. So we focus our real estate business to be big. Now, I did not come up with the idea of this. I came up with the methodology, but I didn't come up with the idea. That was Melinda Plummer, my wife. When after we transformed our lives, we paid off debt. She came to me and said, and we were started talking about a bigger life. She said, hey, we've gone through all of this pain and suffering and all of these things, and you're the world's greatest real estate agent. And I was like, Melinda, I sell 3 houses a year. Let's be honest. Right. Um, and she said, I want to go to a new country every year for my birthday. Why did all of the women just perk up at that point? Like, now I got all the ladies' attention. Maybe I should just start with this story. She wanted to go to a new country every year for her birthday. I said, great. Where do you want to go? She was like, first year, Australia. Like, we crossed 10 countries to get to Australia. She's like, I know, but you're smart and you can figure it out. So I did. I was like, how are we gonna pay for Australia when we make this little amount of money? I mean, I wasn't only selling 3 houses a year, but I looked at it and I went through the board. How many houses? How much do I make per house? How much does Australia actually cost? And how many houses do I have to sell so Australia happens? Write this down, gang. This is this is part of the awareness, but this is also part of like the self-discovery of us. This will help you. This will help your clients. This will help you get more listings. I promise you. If you call through your database and you ask every single person you talk to these questions, you will get more listings. Why do you live where you live? Most people, what are most people living where they live? Kids or work or family. Kids, work, or family. Okay. Second question. If you could live in, so also part A and part B of that question, what do you like? What do you don't like? Like, Renee, why do you live where you live? Second part of that question, part A and B, what do you like? What do you don't like? Because there's always things that we don't like. Second question, if you could live anywhere, where would it be? And why would you want to live there? Okay. Third question. This might be the most powerful question you can ever ask yourself around anything that's future based. What has to be true for us to live there? We went through that framework. I went through that framework on Melinda's vacations. And I'm like, if we can do that on a vacation, can we do that on where we live? We lived in Northern Virginia. What do we like? Friends and church. That's it. What don't we like? Weather, traffic, politics, tech, all of the stuff, living, keeping up with the Joneses, all of the stuff that just made our stress levels go up, our cortisol levels go up. And I'm like, this is terrible. If we could live anywhere, where would it be? And why? I want 300 days of sunshine, play 100 rounds of golf, have a high quality outdoor life, no state income taxes. That's called Las Vegas. So what has to be true for us to live in Las Vegas? I need $10,000 a month coming in on the first of the month, and Melinda's job optional, or she can go do whatever working from home. How crystal clear did we just get in a very, very short amount of time? Because we went through our transformation, we understood the path of money, and we started adding age to it. Now, every coaching client I get, every real estate deal I take, I'm adding money to a bucket called moving. And 30 months later, 24, 30 months later, we made a fairly stress-free move to build a brand new, gorgeous home in Las Vegas. Extremely stress-free for the amount of work that it took because of this system. Now, back to what all the ladies care about. Did Melinda actually go to Australia? Yep. And she got to do the two things she wanted to do: scuba dive with great white sharks and hold a koala bear, skydive in Dubai, zip lining in Costa Rica, Machu Picchu, deep sea fishing in Belize. Not Belize, St. Lucia. I want another crack at St. Lucia. We went to St. Lucia during the pandemic. I didn't get to see St. Lucia like I wanted to see St. Lucia. I'm going back. But I share this with you on like this is what's possible. And every single person, again, this isn't making millions of dollars doing this. Making a couple $100,000 in doing this. Like this isn't going out and selling 300 houses or signing up every single person for, a $50,000 coaching program. That's not what this is. This is being extremely focused and intentional on what actually matters. Awareness, decision, intentionality. Paying ourselves first, taking money this month and adding age to it. We did it. The Rogerses did it. And the next thing is that we've got to have a spending plan. What are we doing with the money before we spend it? It's a budget. If you don't like the budget word budget, call it budget. It's the same thing. It just might fit your brand a little better. But what does it mean? It means spending the money on paper before you actually spend it at the store or pay the bill or whatever it is. One of my favorite stories are the Kroll family. And they came to me in the middle of the pandemic, wanting to pay off credit card debt, wanting to pay student loan off, wanting to pay off a car. And she hadn't sold any real estate in 6 months. So we implemented a plan inside of 90 days to live on her husband's income. He made a great income, a good income, great job, good income. But they were living on probably $4,000 more a month and racking up credit card debt. So we shifted it. Took 60 days, live on his income, took another 60 days, put her into production, got her into production. 4 months later, she's selling two houses a month. $30,000 of debt, gone. $30,000 of cash in the bank, done. Matt, I want to build a new deck. How much does it cost? 15,000. Great. How many houses is that? I think it's about three. I think you're right. Three houses later, she built a new deck. Hey, Matt, I want to pull my kids out of public school and put them into private school. How much is that? It's $20,000 a year. How many houses is that? I think it's about six. Okay, sounds fine. Living on husband's income, no debt, got 40, $50,000 of cash in the bank. Boom, kids are now in private school or now even homeschool because they got on a written plan every month. Rachel and I don't work together anymore, and that's totally fine. She doesn't need me. If I sent her a text today on the 28th and I'm like, do you have May's budget done? There's probably a 97% chance it's already done for May. 6 years later, guarantee they have $1 million saved over the last 6 years in their retirement accounts because of the work that we did for 6 to 12 months, all the way back in 2020. I'll guarantee you they did. They just didn't stop having two shakes a day and getting 10,000 steps a day. And now they don't even need to do 10,000 steps. 5 to 6 is fine in relativity in relationship to their finances. Like this only sucks for a small period of time in the grand scheme of things. I don't want to do a budget. Well, welcome to adulthood. Adults devise a plan and follow it. Children do what feels good. I don't want to set up a bunch of bank accounts. Trust me, no one has ever worked with me, done the things that we talk about, called me a year later and says, "You know what? I really hate the fact that we set up 8 bank accounts. I can't believe I really don't like not having any debt." Like no one's ever, I've never gotten that call. I've never gotten the calls like, man, I'm really pissed that I'm sober. Like I've never gotten that call. Like this stuff works, gang. Okay. So here are the tools. Like if you use my Fitness Pal and Every Dollar are very similar. One's food and one is for spending. Think of it as, hey, I'm putting into my app what I'm eating today. And you put it in before you eat it. Can you enjoy more food or better food rather than going and eating and then putting it into the app? Like if you want pizza, put pizza into the app. Don't go eat pizza, then put it in the app because you'll never go in the app. Lisa, the apps are the food was MyFitnessPal and the other app was Every Dollar. And Lindsay will put the links in the chat, or you can go back and watch the replay. Everydollar.com and then MyFitnessPal is an app. And we'll send out an email with the recap and stuff on it too. Okay. Now, there you go. Okay. Was this good? Has this been good? Good use of time? Good refresher for people? Awesome. Why do I do this? Matt, why do I have to do this? Well, if all it did of paying yourself first, putting yourself on a cash flow spending plan, adding age to money, if all that did was you finally were able to get organized and create a consistent income, would that be worth it? And you became profitable on every transaction every time. If you were able to become debt free, would it be worth setting aside a little bit of time, a little bit of money to invest in yourself to figure this out and to just do it? And you no longer had debt. Like it just was off the table. What if you were able to save, you left this webinar and you're able to save your first thousand, 10,000, or $100,000 over the next few months, regardless, like depending on, again, your goals and your business. Like, would it be worth it to go through this framework and use it and install this in your business and into your personal life? Yeah, of course. What if you were able to actually create a healthy communication between you and your spouse, you and your partner? Would it be worth it? Yeah. I mean, like, if it's yes, type yes in the chat. If it would be worth it to go through and have the framework to slow down and speed up, slow down to speed up, have everything laid out so all you had to do was execute. Would it be worth it? Yeah. I wish my husband and I could be on the same page. Well, Nancy, good news. You can be. Because all it is a little awareness, a little decision, and some intentionality around this conversation. Anyone else like want to have a better, healthy relationship with their spouse or their partner? Type yes in the chat. I'm going to give you guys a little tip. This is free. This is free game Friday on a Tuesday. Free tip Tuesday, not free game Friday. That's my buddy Omar. Awesome. Okay. So, husband and wife, think of most people are having the conversation with their spouse, like here and here. So, like I'm here and Melinda's here, and we're talking to each other. Oh, we'll do it this way. You guys can see it this way, right? Matt, Melinda, talking at each other about anything. If you're going this way, are you ever going to solve anything? Or is it just talk over here and talk over here and talk over here? Like it's talking at each other, right? If this is the thing, right? Not sponsored by Bang, probably should be. Not an ad, wish it was. But if that's here and I'm talking this way at the thing and I'm talking this way, are we ever going to solve the problem? No, we're talking at each other. So what I want you all to do is talk with each other. I'm here, Melinda's here, and we put the thing out here, right? The thing is out here. And so now we're looking at it together. She's here and I'm here, and now we can talk about it. Because now the thing is, hey, we want to go on a trip. We want to go move to Vegas. We want to go buy a rental property. We want to go pay off debt. And the thing is not between us, it's out here in front of us, and we both get to look at it. The conversation changes. Instead of out here and you guys are like husband and wife are pulling at each other, you guys are yoked together looking at the thing that we're trying to solve at the same time with each other. And if you're not married, that's me and you looking at it. If you are married, that's me, you, and your spouse looking at it. If you have a business partner, that's you and your business partner standing side by side and looking outward, not inward towards each other. You'll never solve the problem looking inward. You always have to look, you fix it looking inward yourself, but you never fix it looking at each other. And so if you typed yes, like you want the thing, you want the solution, your very next step. Lindsay actually posted a couple of links in the chat. There's a resource guide. Um, Lindsay, if you actually want to put the money system in there as well, for them to download. I wrote an ebook, free download in the resource guide. The resources have all of the banks and all of the apps we use. And Lindsay's going to post a link for a three-part money system that we talk about budgeting, banking, and bookkeeping that are really, really, really good places to start. If this, especially if this is your very first time of being on a call or a webinar, or we just met at an event this past month or this year, start there. And you all gave me the permission to share. If you would like to start your wealth building journey, schedule your wealth mapping call with me for this afternoon, tomorrow, later in May. May's going to be a little funky because of travel, and I don't want to set anyone up for failure. So it's just like I put some stuff in for the later part of May, where we're actually going to talk about how to come up with your predictable income, control your taxes, build real wealth, and you're going to walk away where your money is actually going, a roadmap for the next 90 days, and what to fix next. Now, here's the beauty of this. We're going to identify where you are, and we're going to identify where you want to go. And at the end of that call, it will be crystal clear for you. A, if you want to do it on your own, or B, if you would like my help. And there are a few ways that I can help you, and that's not for this call. However, it is for a conversation. If you want to create change, there is a safe place for you to do it and how to do it. I've helped hundreds and even thousands of people on this journey. And I will promise you this, most of the people did it, they didn't sign up, right? It's okay. Go do it your own if you want to do it your own. But if you want the fast track, the start is the call. If you want the solution, the start is the call. To start is that the wealth mapping call. And I promise you, you'll leave that call empowered, knowing exactly what your next step is, and if you want to do it alone or if you want my help. Because there are a few ways that I can help you through either the bookkeeping process, group coaching, one-on-one, or if you really, really want to live on the edge, fly out to Vegas and we can go hang out and play golf and have dinner, and we'll get you all set up in an afternoon. There's all kinds of things to do that. So it's been an honor serving you. 3 o'clock Eastern on the dot. Now, I'm going to stick around, right? My job here is done, serving you with no agenda. If there are people that have a question or have a conversation or like, hey, I've got a question about this, I've got no agenda. Let me just confirm that I don't have another call lined up right after this. The answer is no. Perfect. So, what questions do you have around anything that we talked about, your own personal situation? If there was an Ask Matt anything, ask. I'll serve you, and we can we'll let it rip. We'll let I think Lindsay posted the link, mattplummer.com/apply. So that's where you go to fill out the application, mattplummer.com/apply. And we got a question. Pete. Pete knows luxury. Pete Middleton, Nashville, Tennessee. Great to see you, brother.
What's happening, buddy? Hey, real fast, what's the best way to set up a budget for the home budget and for the business budget?
Yeah. So it's the same app. Every dollar is the best app. And you want to have two accounts. You want to have one for business and one for personal. So your business email is your every dollar account for business, and your Gmail account is for personal. So that's the tactical. And then inside of that, I want you to go back the last 90 days and understand two. So I want you to do two things. One, go back 90 days, maybe even 30 days if you have an idea. And how much have you spent in a couple of different categories? How much is your housing expenses? So your housing, your transportation, your utilities. How much are you currently spending on food? And then like kind of what are the ancillaries of life, like your life insurance and like the gym memberships and stuff like that. So it's like, hey, we want and kind of need this kind of stuff. And then how much is your lifestyle? And then you kind of come up with, hey, this is how much the Middleton um, household budget is, or let's just not the budget, like the burn rate. And we do the exact same thing on our business. How much are we spending on payroll, marketing, on people, marketing, operations, and overhead in our business? And you can go do that. Obviously, Claude, if you put your accounts into Claude, it'll give you it'll give you that obviously a lot faster than you going in and
Yeah.
like highlighting, um, those things. So download some bank and credit card and checking statements, put those into Claude, and just say, hey, here's what I'm doing. I'm coming up with a budget for my household. Can you tell me what my average spend is on my household items over the last 90 days? Here's all of my bank statements and my credit card statements for my personal rip. Let it go. And do the same thing for business. And then use every dollar to do the planning and the tracking.
Okay.
That's the best place to start.
And what is it called again, Maddie, again?
Every dollar.
Every dollar.
And if you go out of your neighborhood, turn right, and then make another right, the gentleman who created the app lives there.
Yeah.
Pete lives in a nice neighborhood in Nashville, Tennessee, and is neighbors with the great Dave Ramsey. So yeah, so Ramsey Solutions created this app. It's awesome. Pete, it's good to see you, man.
Yeah, but I haven't always lived here, you guys. I grew up in a city that was kind of tough, and I struggled early on in my career where just managing money and understanding money and how to budget it. So I think it's great that everybody's on here and that Matt's given all these tips. Now it's just executing and taking action,
Yeah,
right?
and again, like this is, I mean, like Pete, when did you start real estate?
Huh.
18 what?
1896.
Okay.
No,
Pete was part of the
1992.
Boston Tea Party, by the way.
Yes. I threw all the tea in the, in the harbor. No, 1992.
So 92, got into real estate, drove across the country, opened up shop in San Diego, moved halfway back across the country, 20 years later into Nashville, and now has, a 1,500 person organization at eXp Realty and sells millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of real estate. and is on a call like this 30 some odd years later, how do I make sure that I'm getting dialed in? Because Pete knows he's going to go make more money over the next 10 years and than he has in probably the previous 10, so that it all just compounds and this he lives a legacy and also leaves a legacy for himself and his family. And he's crushing it.
Well, and I don't want to be loosey goosey with my money. I respect everybody on this call for being on the call and taking the action to be here. And, we all work hard for our money. So, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And I think the key thing is to really look at it and say, how do you manage that moving forward? Because if you believe it, you can achieve it. And if you really manifest it and attract it, it'll happen. So I know I've been watching some of the comments. I know some people are struggling, and I'm sure it's putting pressure on your relationships and so forth. But I think step number one is having somebody guide you, somebody like Matt who can relate to you, who's been in that position before. I've been in that position, but I'm not as talented as Matt with this. You got to be really disciplined, and to have somebody like him on your side that can guide you guys, I mean, that's like a blessing. And everything is delivered to you by God or the universe for a reason. You just have to take the action and start doing it. And I think it will help you in a lot of the scenarios you're in, because there is hope. I've been there before. I mean, there's been times where I haven't sold a house in 6 7 months. So I understand that feeling, and but it gets brighter. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah,
Things get
awesome.
better. So
Yeah, thanks for being on, man. It means the world to me. I was glad to see your name come in, and I love you, and I appreciate everything that you do in the world of real estate, not only for yourself and your family, but always reaching down and pulling people up and lifting people up, whether or not they're in your world or in your business or whatever. Like you have when we met 3 years ago in Cabo, like we established a really good friendship, and I cherish that and I respect that. And we have nothing to do with each other's businesses, but it's an honor to see you here, and thank you again for being here.
yeah, my pleasure. And I'll leave you guys with this. Everybody needs a Matt Plummer in their life, and especially on the golf course, because if Matt's playing golf with you, you will win. And just like in life, you'll win. So I think
Yeah.
it's important to have somebody like him in your corner helping you navigate this. You don't have to do it alone. Most people have to. It's a choice, but take that first step and do that one on one with him, and just see if he can help you. And
Yeah.
put it this way: it can't hurt. It's not going to send you backwards, and it's not going to put you in a worse position. So,
Cool. Lacey, I'm in Jersey Shore for the next 2 days. I don't know how close that is to you, but I'm Asbury Park.
Oh, so you're north. You're like 2 hours north.
Yeah. For me, it's called Jersey Shore. I thought like Jersey Shore was like right here. I'm in Asbury Park. So you're
You're
like,
more like Bruce Springsteen land.
yeah,
I'm
Bruce.
Bruce Springsteen land. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Born in the USA. Let's go.
Right. Yeah. There's some
Awesome.
fun stuff up there. I was like, oh, what's his availability today and how far is he away?
Yeah, just yeah, like I'm driving.
Yeah.
So
Small
yeah,
state.
Let's go, Lacey. I'm ready. We could carport.
awesome. Cool.
There we go. I
Any
love
other
it.
any other questions?
Maddie, let me ask you this: how do you feel about defined benefits or agents?
When you say defined benefits, what do you mean?
So DBs, so their own personal setting up their own personal um, investment account. In a sense, it's different than a 401k. A DB
Yeah.
is kind of your own account for retirement.
Yeah, so here's something that I say over and over and over and over. Stabilize the present to structure the future.
I like that.
What Pete just asked is a structure the future thing. So stabilize the present, get out of debt, get on a written plan, get out of debt, put $50,000 of cash away, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand. The amount doesn't matter. It's whatever's comfortable to you. Then we get to start doing the fun and sexy stuff, right? It's chicken, brown rice, and broccoli, and then eventually we get to have the carrot cake. What was the name of the restaurant we went to in Nashville, Pete?
We went to Jeff Ruby's.
Jeff Ruby's.
It's great.
Fantastic, by
Yeah.
the way. Fantastic. Gained 47 pounds over the course of dinner. It's awesome. Um, and then we got to have the actual dessert, right? We got to do the 401ks, we got to do the retirements. And here's the beauty. I want you to do all of it, right? I want you to have an IRA. I want you then to roll it into a backdoor Roth IRA. So now it grows tax free. I want you to create enough income in a big enough world to where you can put yourself on payroll and then open up a 401k. And then we get to do all of these things as we start maxing out this stuff. Then we can start opening up like, hey, we want to do a trust and we want to have these other defined benefits. So like now you have your health insurance and if you bring in cash value life insurance and all of these things that are benefits of being for the owner as you're going through this. I think I think information is king, and I think that if you say it out loud and what is the purpose of the thing that you're investing in, once like what do you want it to go do? And then I think when we get into like defined benefits of, hey, this is exactly how it is, that will tell us what we need to start and open and set up because everybody's going to be different, right? And so I think that somebody actually typed it in here. Defined benefit plan for your retirement. I think once we started the call with this. What do you want your retirement to look like, and when do you want it? And then so when you defined like, hey, Cabo is my retirement. Here's what happens in Cabo. I can promise you this. At 60, I probably don't want to be doing that many coaching calls at 60, but I'm going to do a ton of them until 60, right? I'm going to build an organization. I'm going to do the things so that when I get to my retirement, it's this. Now, what has to be installed over the next 12 years so that I get to enjoy the next 25 years in Cabo? That will then start to define what are some of the things that I need. I need a 401k, I need an IRA, I need a life insurance policy, I need these annuities, I need this kinds of things, I need these, more importantly, I need these kinds of people around me in my life, right? Because the income that we make in 12 years from now, that's 2038, is going to be radically different than the amount of money that we're going to make in 2026. So things are just going to change.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Great stuff. And just if you get one thing out of this and just put it into action, you guys, it's a win.
Cool. Any other questions before we wrap? It's great seeing everybody on here.
Great job, Matt. Awesome stuff.
Awesome. Thanks, Pete. It's great having you here.
See you guys. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Any other questions before we wrap? Raise your hand. Come off mute. We're all friends here. It's just us and the internet. Okay. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Great to see everybody. Awesome. I'll see you if you schedule a call, I'll see you on your next, those are on Zoom. Laura sent me a Facebook message. You can't say that word on the internet, Laura. Like we'll get shadow banned, shot. I shot you a message on Facebook. Funny. All right. Great seeing everybody. Thanks for being here. We got a few other great things coming up in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned to your inbox, your email inbox, your DMs. If you have any questions, reach out. Mustafa, I'm coming to Richmond. I'll send you a message. All right. See you guys. Have a great, great, great rest of your afternoon. Benjamin, I got to get to Chile, man. See ya.